Welcome back on the Rob Dibbles Show. Ben Darnell, Adam Giardino. Adam Giardino's got to run. He's got multiple interviews going on at the same time. He's bailing out of this segment. Fine, get out of here. I kind of need him because he knows all the things about the roster of UConn men's basketball. Adam Giardino, UConn Sports Network. He'll probably hop on here in a little bit. But we have a signing day tomorrow. I don't know if this is a big thing. Actually, I do know. This is not a big thing in the state of Connecticut. Come down south, especially around football signing day, is like the world shuts down and we all pay attention to some high school library somewhere for a kid to pull out a hat and tell us where he's going to school. Huge deal other places, and I would say huge deal back in the day. Maybe, I think 10 years ago. I don't know if it's a transfer portal. I don't know if it's NIL. I don't know what the hell, but it's different now, okay? There's not a lot of big signing days that people pay attention to. Tomorrow there is one. Tomorrow there's one in West Haven, and our guy Abdou Toure, who has just been a phenom for high school basketball in the state of Connecticut. He's got his full senior year to play at West Haven this year, and a lot of people have been wondering where he's going to go to school. Coach Hurley and his coaching staff have been down to see Toure, I don't know, 20 times, maybe more, including AAU games and West Haven games and just being out and about. He had a laundry list of schools that actually made him a scholarship offer, included Oregon, Maryland. I saw, let's think of the big boys out there. I want to see, I forget that. The three that he's narrowed it down to, I definitely know. UConn being one, Arkansas, Coach Calipari being two, and Providence being three. Now, UConn, Providence, you can argue that Toure is going to stay close, and that's cool. That's awesome. I would say Arkansas, if I know anything about Coach Calipari and how he recruits, he's offering them the world. He's offering them millions of dollars. He's offering them a chance to play at the next level. He's a 6'6" small forward. There's, depending on what ranker you care about or you look into, he's a top 50 guy. That's no argument. He is a top 50 guy coming out next year's senior class. We would all love it if he stayed in-state at UConn. The other thing I don't look at anymore that I used to is who's on the roster now. Is he a better fit with the guys on the roster that's going to be there next? You don't know who the hell's going to be there next year, man. Like, not only graduates going to the next level, but
transfer
portal. Like, the whole roster might change next year, and he's not going to be the only guy. So I wish him the best for Toure. I hope he does pick UConn, but I think anywhere that he goes is going to be a good decision. 6'6", small forward. Have you seen him yet? Nick Federico down there with Coach in high school sports in New Haven.
Yes, so I haven't seen him with my own two eyes because I've been in the studio working the board, but we've done our fair share of Notre Dame and West Haven games, and let me tell you, every single broadcast we do with this kid, it sounds like he's jumping out the gym.
Yes.
He's dominating the court. You can clearly tell just through the radio broadcast that he's a special talent.
He does whatever he wants to do out there. He's a guy that can one dribble from the three-point line and then dunk in your face. 6'6" in Connecticut high school basketball is like a center out there. Now, he has handles, and I'm so glad the West Haven coach has not pigeonholed him in being a tall and that's all back to the basket kind of old school high school player. He has always allowed him to have the ball up top, let him create in space, and do what he does. Now, in saying that, Abdou Toure has come out and some of the quotes on his recruiting process is he wants to go to a place that will let him play free and play his kind of basketball. When I hear that does not sound like Coach Hurley program. That sounds like Calipari, Arkansas program.
Yeah.
Now, no disrespect to Providence. I think at Providence he can be a superstar. I think he has got a bigger role at that school, but I have seen players go to that school that I thought were going to be dynamite elsewhere and have not turned out to be that. So I wish the best for Abdul. I think he's going to make a great decision regardless, but it's just a very interesting world we live in where this is a little bit different than it has been in the past. You know that this is going to come through with NIL deals, but he would just be the one thing I don't like about college sports right now is that I do feel like a lot of these teams are just a bunch of guys that happen to wear your school's jersey. I would rather have a bunch of guys from the area that wanted to go to that particular school because they either grew up liking that school or, God forbid, they have like an education program that they were interested in. Like, that would be something. I just miss the days of these are all the students at our school that happen to play basketball instead of all these basketball players that happen to go to our school this time. And I think Toure would be a Klingon. Toure would be a homegrown prospect. I think a Caravan that way because he's from the New England area. I think Toure would fit perfectly with UConn. He'd have to improve his shooting a little bit. I have seen him on the outside. Like, he's great. Don't get me wrong. It's a different level. It's a different sport when you go to Division I basketball compared to what we're doing in West Haven. No disrespect, Connecticut high school basketball. I think the kid could be great for UConn.
He's also whittled it down. He had other offers on the table. I'm looking at
Maryland
his
was
tracker.
one. Oregon
Maryland,
was one.
Oregon, Louisville, and FSU, Florida State were also.
Think of Louisville, but yeah, Arkansas, Providence, UConn is supposedly where he's at now.
The final picture,
and we shall see tomorrow when he finally makes his decision. But yeah, I just have missed the days of guys that we have known grow up in our community and then go to the school that we all root for in our community. It's rare. It doesn't happen. The more typical thing is for him to go to Arkansas.
Especially nowadays with the money on the table.
Right.
And I can't necessarily knock him if he does. Because I would do the same thing. Right? If I was getting offered millions of dollars versus let's say even hundreds of thousands. Let's say it's not nothing. I don't know what kind of money NIL is being offered by UConn. I don't know what money's being offered, period, by any of the schools.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're not competing with Arkansas. They might be able to for one player, but they've got to be able to spend their money so much more wisely than what Arkansas can throw their money at. It's just honestly the conference rights fees. Like, Arkansas's in the SEC. They have a $90 million check every year just for existing for their rights fees that they have sold to ESPN and the others. So it might be an illustration if Abdou Toure does pick Arkansas over Providence and UConn. I'll throw Providence in the same boat as UConn. I actually think UConn has a bigger edge just because they're Connecticut.
In terms of NIL, you're saying?
No, in terms of getting Toure to go there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But as far as the NIL goes, I'm putting Providence in the same boat as UConn just because they're both Big East. Like, I believe UConn has more NIL than Providence, more juice in that regard. But they're not even close to what the kind of numbers the Big Ten, the SEC are diving in. If this does not go UConn or Providence's way and it goes to Arkansas, yeah, it's a decision for a kid, and everything we said is true. We wish him the best, and if it is more money, I would have done the same thing. But it's still another illustration of how we're in the wrong conference.
I agree.
I think this decision might be a big eye-opener for some people of like, yeah, we need to get into a different conference even when it comes to sacrificing Big East basketball. Because Big East basketball is great. When we get all the teams together and we roll it out there, nothing beats it, man. It's the toughest conference. We got players for days. We got the best coaches in this conference. I agree. But even Creighton is fighting these fights right now. They're losing to Kansas every single time they go head-to-head for a player. You know, Marquette is losing to to like Wisconsin, to like Minnesota, to like Illinois, to all these Big Ten teams they're surrounded by.
It's got to be a tough battle being in the front office there and the people making these decisions for these schools when trying to acquire players with NIL. When you're fighting that uphill battle, knowing every single time if that other school in that conference has more interest, they have a deeper wallet than you, and they will go get him.
The one thing I would say for some of these Big East teams is they pay for the right ones. Like it's. And again, I don't know. No one knows what Abdou is going to be when he goes to the next level. He's great right now. If you're in New Haven and you want to see some high school basketball, go see this kid play this year. Go see him play as a high school kid. You're going to get at least 4 or 5 dunks, and you're going to leave the place
satisfied.
I got the price of admission tonight. He is definitely worth the price of admission. But
at the next level, you're paying for the potential of what he could develop to be.
You have no idea. There's so many factors that go into it. I heard this from LeVar Arrington when he was just talking about linebackers that were better than him at Penn State. And I was like, right on, bro, because saw this in my college career, saw this all over the place. There are people better than me all over the place. A lot faster, a lot stronger. They just couldn't make it to practice on time. They just couldn't do the workouts. They just couldn't getting yelled at. There was just one, they couldn't take losing a girlfriend and having their heart broken, and they're playing on the team at the same time.
The schoolwork.
They
keep the grades up, whatever it is.
Not being away from home for 50 minutes away or less than an hour, or even 20 minutes away, just living on their own. There's so many factors when you go to that next level, and I say this for college to pro. So many factors, you don't know how they're going to be. And, man, Tim Legler's told us this 10 years ago, and this always rings true. You never know how a kid's going to act when you give him $1 million.
Does it get to his head? That's a big question.
I'm not talking about Toure right now. I'm talking about player X.
In general.
Everybody.
Hypothetical.
Player
yes.
X. I hope he becomes a UConn Husky. We'll see what he chooses on Friday. But I do think, like UConn and Providence, they've got to find these really good players to spend their money on, because they can't waste $2 million on the wrong thing. $2 million on somebody that's going to be a cancer in the locker room, not going to produce on the court, and going to be out of the program within 6 months.
And on the other hand, Arkansas can't afford to.
Correct.
That's an expense or a risk they're willing to take.
Correct. But in the same argument, they want to win.
Of course.
And they're going to be going after these guys all the way across the country just to get them. So we'll see. Good luck, Abdou, tomorrow. I'm sure you're going to make the right decision, but the decision will come down, and we'll talk about it.